Hi guys, and welcome to Unity 3D. You see, in this tutorial the whole idea is for you to be able to switch from level 1 to level 2 if you collect or manage to collect 3 of these items. They have already collected one, so I'm going to come back with a player. Just click on 2. I have 2. Now let's see if we can collect the next one. Go back in there and try to get one more, and that should officially take us straight to the next level. So let's see. There we go. We are now on the next level. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take you guys straight back into Unity development environment, and we will put one of these together. So let's do that now, guys. Hi guys, and welcome to Unity 3D tutorial of how to switch from one level to the other. Okay, I've already imported or downloaded 2 assets that I'm going to need. So I'm going to double click on the very first one. Is called grass flower. So double click on the folder called demo. You can use whatever asset you want. This is just a practice. I'm going to double click on this demo grass, and there we go. This very demo grass. I'm now going to save it. If I run it, let's run it and you guys see how that looks like. It's coming up now, and there we go. That is it right there. Okay, I'm going to exit out, and this very first asset, I'm going to go to file. Let's save it as let's say level 1 and save that. So that is my very first level. It's coming up now. It should appear here. There we go. Okay, that is fine. Now I'm going to go into the publish. Inside the publish, I have what is known as super character controller. Double click on the super character controller itself. In here inside the super character controller we have demo asset. This is the one I want. Double click on that, and I'm going to save that as level 2. Let me run it. You guys see how that looks like. So click on run. There we go. That's how the super character controller looks like. So I'm going to save that as my level 2. So the transition will be from level 1 to level 2. So let's come in here now and go to file and save that as level 2. There we go. Save. So we have level 1 and level 2. Okay, now to be able to translate or to be able to switch from one level to the other, the first thing I will advise you guys to do is to go straight to file, and let's select building settings. Inside the building settings, we want to insert both levels here. So the very first level I want there is level 1. You can always click on add open scene. If I click on that, because level 2 is the default one for now, that's what you will see. So look at that. You see level 2. But we want level 1 to be the first one. So paste level 1 up there. I just drag and drop it in here. If you look at the index of level 1 is 0 and index of level 2 is now 1. So that is taken care of. Okay. Now the next thing we want to do is let's go into level 1. Double click on level 1. Right in here I'm just going to add some game object in here. So right click and let's select 3D, and let's select the sphere. There we go. We have the sphere right there. So let's double click on that, or just call it. First of all, let's give it a name. I'm going to call it player. There we go. Now double click on the sphere itself. That is it right there. We want to make sure it's well positioned, and I'm going to increase the size of that so that it will become very, very visible. 555. So that's good. Alright, it's somewhere here. Okay, I'm even going to focus the camera on it. That is the position of my camera. Okay, that is my object there, the ball that I intend to use. Okay, now that is fine. So right click on the hierarchy area again. Let's grab hold of maybe capsules. Alright, so that very capsule, I'm going to make the size 4 by 4 by 4. That is fine. You see this very capsule? I'm going to add a rigid body to it. So let's come right here, scroll right down, You see where we have component, click on the component and let's grab hold of rigid body. And you see where we also have is triggered, make sure that is triggered. Okay, so if you like, maybe let's just right click inside the project area here. Let's select create material. We have material, and I'm going to change that material color to something a little bit yellowish, and that will give it just something like let's say, let's enter yellow in there, so that would be about alright. Now select that again and let's select the yellow color in the albedo. There we go, that is fine. Drag the yellow color, just place it on it. So now you see this capsule, I'm going to change the name of this capsule, okay, to maybe collect. Yeah, collect. Yeah, that's fine. Now I am also going to come in here. You see where we have tag. Click on the tag and I'm going to add a tag to it. Okay, the tag I want to add, let's just give it any name. I'll just call it pickup. Right, make sure the spelling, everything is right, because we're going to need that for the codes. So now this verifier you're looking at, now I'm going to now attach the tag to it. That is the tag right there. Drop this down. That is it, pickup. There, that is the alias name. Now this same sphere that I call collect, I'm going to drag it, drop it in here to convert it into what is known as a prefab. So drag, drop. There we go. It's now a prefab, so I can reuse it as many times as I want, and anytime I carry out whatever kind of modification, that goes right in there. So what we want this ball to do is just to collect them all. Once we are able to collect these three collectibles, we can just move straight onto the next level. Okay, now that all of that is done, before we go any further, there's one more thing that we should have done with this very prefab here. So if you double click on it, that's okay. You see where we have the rigid body, we have use gravity, make sure that is checked, and you see is schematics, make sure that is checked as well. So that will take care of that. Now let's go back into our main program right here. Just click in here. Now you see this very ball, I'm also going to add a rigid body to this very ball itself. Okay, you can always go straight to the component, select fixes and select rigid body. That is it, attached to it. Okay, select it and if you scroll right down, you should be able to see the rigid body. And I will just leave this the default, use gravity. Okay, let's click on run and you see how it all looks like. Right there, as you can see the ball just moving on its own without me doing anything. That's because we have gravity on it. So I'm going to stop it right there. So the whole idea is, as the ball moves around, I want this camera to follow the ball around. So in that case, I'm going to select the camera and let's come right here inside inspector, select add component, and right there we want to, let's look for script there. Now I'm going to just call that camera controller. There, click on add. We have our controller there, so the camera controller, double click on the camera controller to open up the C#. There we go, C# is now coming up. Okay, C# development environment is ready. First thing I'm going to do is, you see right above the void start, I'm going to declare one public variable, and that very public variable is going to be a game object. And this game object, we can just call it ball. There. The second one is going to be a private variable, and that one is going to be using vector3, and I'll just call that, let's say, offset. There we go. Now inside the start right here, I'm going to say offset, that will be equals transform dot position dot position, and we minus that from the position of the ball dot transform dot position. Just copy and paste that. There we go. Now in the update, we want the system to use late update, so let's change the event to late update. In the late update, I'm going to say transform dot position equals the ball dot position plus offset. There, and that's all there is to that. I'm going to save that. So have a good look at the lines of codes. So let's save it and go back into our development environment. So minimize that back inside Unity. So that is fine. Select the main camera and scroll right down. Now it's now asking me which object would you like me to follow. All I want you to do is to follow the player. Drag the player and just dump it right in there. And that's all there is to that. So if I click on run, let's see what's going to happen now. The camera should follow the player around, though we don't have control of the player yet. We just need to add 1 or 2 lines of code to make sure we are able to control the player. Look at that. The camera is following it around. That is without me doing anything. So let's exit out. That is fine. Okay, let's put together some few lines of code to control this very ball for me. So I'm going to make sure it's selected, then come right here in the inspector, scroll right down, click on add components, and the component I want to add is going to be a new script, and then I'll just give it a name. I'll call it ball controller. There we go. Now ball controller is created. Double click and open up the ball controller right there. Now get rid of that, and I'm going to create a public variable, and this public variable will be, that will be, let's say it's going to be float, and the variable will be speed. There. Now the next thing is I'm going to create another one that is going to be a rigid body. It's a rigid body. And I'll just call that RB. There we go. So right inside start here, I'm just going to say rigid body equals get components. And what component are we getting? We're getting the rigid body itself. I'll be rigid body, enter parentheses. There we go. Alright, that's the first part taken care of. The next thing is, you see the void in there, because I want the ball to, I want to be able to follow the ball around. I want to be able to control the ball, so I'm going to use fixed update for that. So fixed update, and in here let's say float, and that is going to be, we want it to move horizontally, so we just say mh, that will be equals, let's say input dot get axis, input dot get axis. So the axis that I want you to get now, that's going to be an horizontal, and this horizontal is actually inbuilt variable. So let's say horizontal there. So that is one taken care of. The next one is going to be, we want it to move vertical. So I've already copied that, come right down here, paste that, and change this to V Oh, move V. There we go. And in here I'm going to change that to vertical. Like I said earlier on, this is actually an inbuilt variable. The horizontal and the vertical, those are both built-in variable. I can show it to you. Let me show it to you guys. If you come right to edit and select project settings, that is it for horizontal movement, and we also have for vertical movements. So once you type in those, the system understands what you're talking about. Okay, now we now want to add force to it, but to be able to add force to it, I'm going to use vector 3. So let's say vector 3 equals, let's give the vector a name. I'm going to call it move. Okay, let's say mover. All right, so mover, that will be equals new vector 3, new vector 3, and this new vector 3 is going to be mh, my variable, comma, because we can move horizontally but we cannot move the y-axis. We won't be able to move, so I'm going to make that 0. Y-axis is more or less like you flying. Then move v, the move v, that's the z-axis. There we go. Now I'm now going to apply rigid body, so I want to add force to it. So that would be rd dot add force, and the force I intend to add, that's going to be mover multiplied by speed. There. Look here, that should have been rd as well, and here change that. Okay, so you have to be careful with the codes. Alright guys, so let me save that, and I'm going to see how that works for now. So minimize that, and it's now compiling. Okay, now select the ball and let's come right to the inspector here, and let's see, that's the variable for speed. I'm just going to add a bit of speed to it. Let's make that about 10, and I'm going to now click on run. Let's play it and see how that's going to look like. We should be able to control the ball ourselves. Okay, it's coming up. There we go. Okay guys, and that is me now controlling the ball. Look at that. That's very good. Okay, we now have full control of the ball. So let's end that. Now the other thing we want to try and achieve is to be able to use that ball to get rid of all of these my collectibles that I have in there. So let's go back to my codes in here. So right underneath these very lines of code, or that very function, I'm going to now add another function. I'm going to call it void, and I'm going to be using an event called on trigger enter. I want the following to happen. So collider to collide with order. So let's enter order right in there. The order that I'm talking of, that would be the pickup that the alias created earlier. So come right down here and let's use an if statement. If order dot game object, and we now need to compare it. Dot compare tag. The tag we're comparing it to, that would be the one that I call pickup. Yeah, that is correct. Now come right out here and enter curly braces. In that case, we now want order dot game objects, and we want that to, let's say, dot set active. That would be false. We just want to disable that. That is it. There we go. Save that. And let's go back to the editor. So I'm going to minimize that, and right here let's click on run and just try that out. And there we go guys. So let's see if we are able to. Very good, very good, very good. So now what I'm going to now do is to add counters. So I'm going to exit out. Now let's back in here in the hierarchy. So right here, right click on that and let's select UI, and I'm going to select text, and that very text, I'm just going to change the name of that text to counter. Now let's enhance this text. You see where we have a rect transform, select that, and let's select the upper left hand corner and select left right there. Okay, and that is fine. Now scroll right down and let's change the font size to something a little bit readable, and also change the text to counter. So in here you see the font size. I'm going to make that about 24 there, and where we have the alignment and so on, I'm going to just click on center and center right here. That is fine. And let's change the color as well. Click on that and let's change the color to something we can, let's maybe set to 4. Yep, that's fine. Okay, close that. Alright, so that is fine. So the counter is taken care of. You see where the counter is? I want to be able to position it properly. You see the 2D, click on 2D. And let's just zoom out a little bit and see the 2D. That is it right there. That is my counter. I'm going to move it right up here. There we go. So that is fine. So now right click on the counter inside the hierarchy and let's create a duplicate. The duplicated one, I'm going to change the name of that one to winner. So we have winner, and the text content of the winner as well, I'm going to just change that to winner. There we go. So that is fine, and let's move winner straight to the other side. There, let's move it right here somewhere there. That is fine. Okay, now that that is taken care of, we can go back to our scene the way it used to be. Now let's run it and see how that looks like. Look at it right here. Anyway, it's looking good already. Okay, that's good. So after that, we just need to put a line of code together to take care of the counting. Now let's get rid of those. Yeah, that's good. And let's just stop that. Now the next thing we now want to do is go back to the project. Select my ball control. I think it's already open inside the ball control. We're going to first of all import the following. So one is going to be for the Unity UI. So that is Unity engine.ui. That will be used for the text. It's in uppercase. And the other one is going to be Unity engine dot scene manager. The scene manager, we will use that to move from one level to the other. There we go. So that will be used to move from level 1 to level 2, and this is for the text. Now that is done, right underneath where I have my variables, I'm going to create the following variable for the text. So let's say public, and the very first one I'm going to call it text, and this text I'll just call it count text. There, and create another one that will be for the winning text. So we can just copy all of these and just change that to winning text or win text. There we go. That is fine. And we also need a private integer that will take care of the counting. So I'm going to say private integer count there. Now that that is done, I'm now going to scroll right underneath here and create a function that I will call, let's say, void level checker. And level checker will take in the following. Inside there, I'm going to say text counter there that I have in here, count text, that will be equals count, or let's say counter, and counter is going to be, let's say, plus count dot to string. There we go. Now using an if statement, let's just say if the count is less than and equals to, let's just say 2 or 3, whatever you want to enter. I only have 3 on board. Let's say greater than and equals to 2. You can add more, as many as you like. Then we just want our text, win text. That one we also will display that you won. Win text equals you are a winner. Oh, that's too much. Let's just say you win. That's fine. Okay, now the decision time. We now need to use this very scene manager or scene management. So we're going to call scene manager. We want it to go take us straight to the next level. Come right down here, paste scene manager dot load scene, and the scene that I want you to load, that will be scene manager dot get, scene manager dot get active scene. Enter parentheses, and I will just say dot build index. Yep. Just say +1. So that should take care of it. There's another easy way out, but this, I prefer using this method. Alright, we now need to call this level counter. I'm going to call that inside on trigger enter, but first thing first, let's just say count. That will be equals count +1. I want you to increment that, and level counter. Okay, and I'm also going to just make sure that this level counter is also initialized in the stats function here. So the level counter is there, the text is there, the count is 0. So let's save that, and I'm now going to go straight into Unity editor. So let's go straight into Unity editor now. Click on Unity editor, and that's it. It's now compiling. There we go. So once it's finished compiling, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to select the player. That's the player there. I guess you guys can see it. Okay, I've selected the player. I'm now going to come to the inspector, the player inspector. Scroll right down, and right there, those are the variables that I declared for the text and the winner. So I'm going to go into the canvas in here and click on, just select the counter, the text counter, drop it right there. And I'm also going to drop the winner counter. Drag it, just drop it right in there. Let's make sure that is saved, and I'm going to run it now. Let's just run it and see how that's going to work. Let's see. So click on run. It's coming up. There we go. As you can see, it is running. You see the ball moving around. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to just stop that and change this to, let's maximize the screen. Okay, I've just clicked on that. Now click on run again. Let's see how that's going to look like with a full screen. So if I'm able to collect all of those items, as you can see, if I can collect them, let's see 1, 2, and let's see if we can get the other one. So if we are able to get the other one, we should make our way straight to the, I should be able to make my way straight to the second. I'll come back here. Let's see if I can get that. Oh no, I missed it. I missed it again. So I'm going to kind of like rearrange it. It's a little bit too just slow for me. So stop that now. Okay, let's go back in here and now just go straight to the project and just add more. Okay, more prefabs in there so that I can speed up this thing. So that's good enough. In here, all I just need to do is to get 3. Once I'm able to hit 3, then I should go straight to the next one, to the next level. Pickups in there, so I'm going to now run it, and I've sort of like repositioned the camera because I'm a little bit slow with playing this game. Alright, so it's coming up now. There we go. Now that's a counter right there. I've just get rid of 1. Let's see if I can pick another one. We have 2, we have 3. There we go. The system takes you straight to the next level. Okay, so let me do that again. Exit out and run. It's coming up. Yeah. Okay, now round 1. We come back here. We have 2, we have 3, straight to the next level. You see that, guys? And that's how you create your own, or that's how you actually switch from one level to the other level. Okay, so when you get to the door, all you need to do is to press E, and the door will open up for you. Then you can go straight into the building and do whatever you want to do. So with that, guys, I'm going to call it the end of this tutorial. I suppose you guys enjoy it, and please do subscribe to my channel, and you can also join to become a member of the channel. So you all have a nice day now, and bye for now.